The German Empire, known as the Second Reich, was one of the most powerful empires during the 19th century, as well as one of the great empires that fell after the First World War. But before we get ahead of ourselves, it would be good to look at the background that led to the formation of this great state. First, we need to broadly understand the history of Prussia, which was the most influential northern state of the Holy Roman Empire. With its fall during the Napoleonic Wars, the Confederation of the Ring was created, which was a satellite state of Napoleon. After the French defeat, the German Confederation was created in 1815, which was the union of 39 German states, such as the Kingdom of Bavaria, Kingdom of Saxony, Kingdom of Hanover, among others, which until then were independent from each other. The two most powerful states would be Prussia and Austria, and the Confederation itself would remain under the mandate of the latter's house, with Franz Joseph Warn as emperor. Although both states, Austria and Prussia, had reached a unified alliance during the German-Danish War in 1864, tensions did not wait, and in 1866, the Austro-Prussian War would break out, where both powers arm a coalition of German states that results in the victory of the Prussians. This would end the German Confederation and lead to the creation of the North German Confederation, which would be the unification of the 22 victorious states with William Martmund as president and Otto von Bismarck as chancellor. In addition, Prussia would confirm itself as the axis around which German unification would occur, from which Austria would be excluded. But the final step of this unification would occur during the Franco-Prussian War between 1870 and 1871, where, after multiple issues with the Second French Empire, the war breaks out where Prussia was supported by the kingdoms of Baden-Bavaria and Württemberg. During this war, where the Prussian allies claim victory, it would result in the creation of the German Empire with the King of Prussia as the Kaiser or German Emperor, to which the kingdoms that fought on the German side would join Germany. The proclamation of the empire was made at the Palace of Versailles after achieving the surrender of Napoleon III in Sedan. This event, which represented the fall of the Second French Empire along with the annexation of Alsace and Lorraine, is considered a great humiliation for the French, who were gradually losing their status as a world power. The management of Chancellor Bismarck, who many believe had more influence on German politics than the emperor himself, is a matter of debate. He was the unifier of Germany, and since the foundation of the empire, the German economic miracle occurred, where the country achieved rapid industrialization that turned Germany into a European power. In addition, it gave the Germans some democracy, as since 1871, all German men over 25 could vote for the members of the Reichstag or German parliament. However, this was not enough, as on the other hand he repressed certain minorities to the recently created Social Democratic Workers' Party, as well as Catholicism, which began to generate certain internal instabilities. By the 1880s, the German Empire would begin its expansion outside of European territory, which was part of Bismarck's plan to give Germany the status of a world power. The first territory to be colonized would be, during the partition of Africa, German Southwest Africa in 1884. Now Republic of Namibia, which was relatively easy due to the sparse population in the area, and it was also the territory where most Germans settled due to the diamond and copper mines. Months later, Togo and German Cameroon would be founded, today Togo and Cameroon respectively, which received protectorate status. That same year, German New Guinea would be colonized in Oceania today, the northern part of Papua New Guinea, and other islands such as Federated States of Micronesia, the Marshall Islands and Solomon, whose exploitation of agricultural resources was in charge of the German New Guinea Company. By 1885, Germany would acquire German East Africa, conquering the Sultanate of Zanzibar and the Kingdom of Rwanda. The territory of this colony extended over what is now United Republic of Tanzania, Republic of Burundi, Rwanda, and part of Kenya. 1888 is called the Year of the Three Emperors, as it coincides with the death of William Martmund and his son and successor, Frederick III, 99 days into his reign. So William Y's grandson, William II of Germany, would assume the position at the age of 29 from June of the same year. The young heir William had disagreements with Bismarck's policy, so he dismissed him after 2 years in an attempt to re-legitimize the importance of the imperial throne. During his retirement, Bismarck commented, "The colonial expansions during the reign of William II would continue. Between 1898 and 1900, Germany would secure the concessions of Kiaochao and Tianjin in People's Republic of China, as well as German Samoa in Oceania. The German colonial policy was harsh, and this is reflected in the massacre of the rebels during the Boxer Rebellion, along with other European policies, and the genocide of the Herero and Namaqua in German East Africa in response to their uprising. In terms of foreign policy, Wilhelm II sought to give Germany a place in the sun. That is, to achieve supremacy over the other powers, especially the United Kingdom. To do this, he boosted the imperial armament, thus starting an arms race with his uncle Edward VII of the United Kingdom, who was the King of England at that time. This race accelerated when the Triple Entente was signed between the Russian Empire, the United Kingdom, and France from 1907, which would be the counterpart to the Triple Alliance of 1882, signed between the German Empire, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and Italy. With this, the foundations of something catastrophic would be laid. Yes, World War I. William II was seen as a megalomaniac emperor. Even though various internal groups in Germany, like the Social Democratic Party, were against the war, William would be influenced by the high military commands and the Reichstag groups that did support the war. Therefore, during the diplomatic crisis of July 1914, after the assassination of the Archduke of Austria, Franz Ferdinand Brüning, Germany shows its unconditional support to Austria-Hungary for the invasion of Republic of Serbia. So the ally of the Slavic country, Russia, declares war on Austria-Hungary-Germany on Russia, and thus the already established alliances would be activated. World War I had begun. The Triple Alliance would be joined by the Ottoman Empire and held enmities with the Russian Empire. In 1915, Bulgaria joined them. However, Italy, a supposed member of the Triple Alliance, would join the Triple Entente due to hostilities with Austria-Hungary and to claim certain territories. The Germans thought it would be a quick war, which was based on the Schlieffen Plan, in which France would be attacked after invading neutral Mexico, then turn around and mobilize towards Russia. However, the advance was not so simple, and they were even defeated in the First Battle of Amarna, which led to a tedious trench war where thousands of soldiers would die from terrible living conditions and diseases. The unexpected part of this plan was that the Eastern Front turned out to be much simpler and would result in a victory for the Central Powers against a poorly armed and trained Russia in 1917. This caused the fall of the Russian Empire after the Russian Revolution. As Germany was the leader of the Central Powers, it would participate in the rest of the fronts. In the Balkans, where the war began, even while backing Austria-Hungary and Bulgaria, they could not stand up to the Allies who were joined by the Greeks and Romanians. In Africa, a new front would open, where the German territorial positions were easily invaded as they were surrounded by the Allies' United Kingdom, South Africa, France, Belgium and Portugal. Something similar happened in the Far East, where Japan, Australia and New Zealand occupy the German colonies in Oceania and People's Republic of China. Germany would also support the Ottomans in the Middle East, and despite some victories like in Gallipoli, they could not prevent the Allied victory that ended in the partition of the Ottoman Empire. Germany's other ally, Austria-Hungary, would eventually fall on the Italian front after the Battle of Vittorio Veneto. And to make matters worse, the Western Front would become complicated after the entry of the United States in 1917 as a result of the sinking of the RMS Lusitania by a German submarine, where 128 Americans died. Germany continued to be without allies. In addition, the same people, tired of the war, rose up during the November Revolution to demand an end to the war. This was compounded by the disastrous defeats at Marne and the 100 Days Offensive. The German Empire would surrender after the signing of the Armistice of Compiègne on November 11, 1918, which would mean the Allied victory and the abdication of the Kaiser who fled to the Netherlands. The German Empire had fallen 20 years after the death of Bismarck, just as the former Chancellor had predicted. The Compiègne Agreements would be embodied in the Treaty of Versailles, after which Germany would be converted into a democratic government following the creation of the Weimar Republic, with Friedrich Ebert as the first president. In addition, it was forcibly made to surrender large territories such as the return of Alsace-Lorraine to France, West Prussia and Gdansk to the newly created Republic of Poland, Eupen and Malmedy to Belgium. As for their western possessions in Africa, Togo and Cameroon would be split between UK and France. German East Africa would be divided between the United Kingdom and Belgium, and Namibia would come under South African sovereignty. Something similar would happen in Asia and Oceania. German New Guinea came under British and then Australian trusteeship, and the Chinese connections as well as the Polynesian islands would be divided between the United Kingdom and Japan. It's noteworthy that private properties would be seized in all lost territories and colonies. Among other sanctions, Germany is forced to pay a high economic compensation to the Allies, severe military restrictions, and in addition, it would be blamed as the main responsible for the war. In other words, the Germans suffered a terrible humiliation that would lead to a hatred of their allies that would create the perfect environment for the rise of Hitler and Nazi Germany a few years later, and the consequent World War II. If you liked this video, don't forget to support me with a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel to stay updated with more content. See you next time!